Ciao everybody, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Julian Gennady. Today is Friday, June 23rd, 2023. I'm going to update you on stuff from last night, the 22nd of June. Basically stuff from DiMarzio, stuff from Romano, stuff from Agresti, Giovanni Albanese, yada yada yada, list goes on, Padula. And it's mostly going to be my opinions on the midfield and what we're planning to do with it. And it's going to be updates on our wingback situation or fullback situation, whatever you want to call it. And it's also going to be an opinion on potential outgoings. So stick with us and you will find out my opinions soon enough. Welcome back. So where do we want to start? I think we're going to start with the potential outgoing, because it's only one that I'm really worried about. Bombshell, not really bombshell, but kind of a shock to the system of what's been happening over the past decade, if you're talking about the Premier League in general, but the past week or so, with the Premier League targeting now big time Italian players. So we know Newcastle made Champions League this year, good for them in England. They sent out their bid for Tonali, got accepted, 70 to 80 million, around that region, to Milan. Took Milan's future captain, Milanista, through and through, whatever, next star boy for them. Took him away quite easily, Newcastle did. Not much convincing, and I'm sorry about my dog in the background. And now I'm scared. Not scared. I feel threatened by Chiesa potentially going there as well. There were Liverpool links earlier from Albanese, but I don't think Liverpool are going to match what Newcastle are going to offer. So whatever. If Newcastle comes in with another nuclear bid for Chiesa, I think he might go. I'm more so him staying over him, because he's already rejected Aston Villa. We know that. Aston Villa came in with a 60 million euro bid, and he rejected that basically. I think the club kind of did as well. We'll find out more about that deal later. But if Newcastle comes in with, say, 80 mil, I think Juventus says yes, but it's up to Freddie at that point. And I feel threatened at this point. The club should feel threatened. The fans should feel threatened. We know how Milan feels now. Obviously, Tonali's a bit younger, won Serie A with Milan, so he's got a better track record, I'd say. But Chiesa is our guy, the guy who actually makes us excited to watch the games. Italian, you want, if Johan or John Elkin wants to tell Juve, you're going to sell Freddie Chiesa the first chance you get. It doesn't look good. Whose team really is it? Who's really given the player manager or the players the transfer season? Who's really guiding that? But yeah, so follow that story, because throughout the whole summer, Vlahovic, Chiesa, Bremer, all three of those dudes, our best players, are going to be linked with moves away. It's going to be a matter of who wants to actually leave or who wants to actually stay. And we know through social media recently, Vlahovic and Chiesa do their thing. They do their bromance on social media. So with Juventus stuff in the background, we'll see. At this point in time, I'm leaning on the side that he's staying, like more than 50%, not that high, but he's staying more than 50%, I'll say, as of now. Let me know what you guys think. Again, this is one of those videos where we're not going to have the stuff on the side to keep track of. Hopefully Alejandro edits it a bit and does when you look on YouTube, you can see it at the bottom, the tracker of what we're talking about, because I'm kind of transitioning in and out. So that Chiesa stuff, I'm going to move on now. Like I said, whatever. I think he's staying more so than he's not at this point. But we'll see. Next, we're going to go... let's go to the midfield. Kind of a weird story. All over the place, super random. Randomly today, Thomas Partey potentially coming to Juventus. He's down for it. Fabrizio Romano says exclusive news: Thomas Partey has been offered to Juventus. I think the number was 18 to 22 million, and he doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. He wants to stay in Europe. Cool. Juventus hasn't really pushed the agenda yet for him. Now, DiMarzio says this is on the basis that Adrian Rabiot, leaves and isn't retained by Juventus. Which, if we're won the percentage game, he's more likely than not he's leaving to pastures anew, I would assume. So with that, if Juventus got Thomas Partey, it would mean bumping up Manuel Locatelli as a Mezzala, and Partey would obviously be the defensive midfielder or the six. That's the plan. It seems as though that's being reported by journalists. Now, what I want to say is, cool. Kind of a waste of money, but because we have Ravella. But if that is what the direction we're going into is, let Rabiot go, let him walk. Instead of bumping Locatelli forward at this point, send Ravella out to Lazio. Say, hey Lazio, take Ravella. We're going to get Thomas Partey in. Give me Sergej Milinkovic-Savic for whatever price. Like, let Ravella minimize the price that Milinkovic-Savic would come in. That's my thought process, because why else are you getting Thomas Partey? Even if Thomas Partey came in and he was injured, I think Max Allegri, knowing who that guy is, knowing who that coach is, he's going to make Locatelli the sub-defensive midfielder. And where does that leave Ravella? Third choice at that point, sorry. So the player profile of sending Rabiot, or not retaining Rabiot, and bringing in Thomas Partey in, doesn't make too much sense, in my opinion. Now, you can disagree with me, but at that point, if you send Ravella to Lazio to get the Milinkovic-Savic situation going on, you bring in Savic, you bring in Partey, you send out Ravella, you send out Rabiot. On paper, in 2023, you are a much better team. Let me say that again. On paper, in 2023, you are a much better team with Partey, Milinkovic-Savic in your midfield above or replacing Rabiot and Ravella. In the future, are you better? Partey is going to break down very soon. I would assume so. He's missed 37 matches in the past 3 seasons for Arsenal. He's missed the biggest games. He had a knock from April to July, and he was out for 3 months with a knock. So very innocuous injury history with that club. He's still better than Ravella. He is. Like, let's not kid ourselves. He's not a trash player. He's just unreliable when it comes to fitness, when it comes to the biggest stage. But again, he still is better than Ravella at this point. We have to call a spade a spade. Paredes was on paper better than Ravella as well, but he was not the player for Max Allegri. This is another thing you have to look into. Is Thomas Partey a Max Allegri player? Defensively, he's good. On the ball, he's tidy. He's not going to play the inventive pass, but he's tidy on the ball. He is a big physical midfielder. That's what Allegri likes. Big physical midfielder. So, I just don't understand why, if it's Rabiot, it's only Partey. Why can't we think about stuff, go forward with the plan of getting big physical midfielders, send Ravella out, since you clearly deem Partey is the solution at defensive midfield, and bring in Savic and lower the fee to get Savic. If we're not doing this, and we're literally if we're not retaining Rabiot, because we can't, because he chose pastures anew, and we're bringing in Partey for his replacement, and the midfield's Partey, Locatelli, and Fagioli, still okay, but let's be creative. Let's be a little bit more creative. The Frattesi thing, let the Milan clubs deal with him. I'm not interested in giving Sule and De Winter and money for Frattesi. Like, come on. Yes, he scores goals from midfield, but if you have the opportunity to get Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, you do that, because he is the 1A, 1B best midfielder in Serie A. Him and Barella are the best midfielders in Serie A. So if you have the opportunity to get Milinkovic-Savic, and it costs Ravella, I even said it last year, I'll say it again this year, do that. Please do that. Apparently Sarri likes Ravella as well. don't make him untransferable. Go and do that. I need to see Milinkovic-Savic. I need to, even Pogba's still in the mix, kind of, because if he's not injured, he's a starter. So if you're midfield 6 for next season, I don't know why we need 6. I guess we're in the Conference League still, but if our midfield 6 is Partey, Milinkovic-Savic, Fagioli, the starters, and our subs are Locatelli, Pogba, and Moretti, that's the best midfield in the league, but like by far. And I was telling my uncle, I was speaking about this to my uncle today. If every player is available for at least 30 games, and there's no substantial injuries to that midfield, I can't see us losing many games, and I can see us winning the league. A lot has to go right in order to get that midfield, and right now it's Fantacalcio, what we're talking about, but there's ways where this potential midfield could work. So I'm very against Frattesi getting into a bidding war with Milan's new war chest and Inter Milan's they're just progressing further along in the process with Frattesi. I'm not interested in getting to a bidding war with him. Don't retain Rabiot if you have the possibility to get Partey and Milinkovic-Savic. If they come as a pair, I'm okay with Rabiot leaving. Just the misprofiling, though, of not keeping Rabiot and getting Partey as a replacement, that's a weird misprofile. But if there's a grand plan, I'm okay with it. Again, those 6 midfielders I named that could be our way forward, I'm totally on board with. And yeah, so let me know what you think about that midfield, my suggestion of midfield, and do you think it's possible? Do you agree with that midfield? I know people are going to be skeptical about Partey's injury history. I laid it out for you, and it's going to be hard to get Milinkovic-Savic, but you have the trade chip. You have an asset, favorable, a wanted asset from Lazio or by Lazio, and you still have Pellegrini to say, hey, have Pellegrini too. So we'll see. Another outgoing, possibly Zakaria is going to probably go to West Ham, or there's another team involved, I forget. I don't think it was Bournemouth, some other Premier League team, maybe Aston Villa, I can't remember. But definitely West Ham's in the mix for 18+ million. Good. Just get the money required. The more money you get from 4 players that aren't Vlahovic and Chiesa, the better off we're going to be. So we'll move on to the wingbacks now, and we're probably going to wrap it up with the wingbacks, unless I'm missing anything else. I don't think so. The meeting with Empoli is happening. It's been happening this whole week or sometime next week. Filippo Ranocchia, another midfielder, funny enough, is wanted by Empoli. We could probably sell him 6 to 8 million euros. And then you get Fabiano Parisi, who played for Italy yesterday by the time you're watching this. Played a few minutes in the U21 game against France, and apparently he was lights out. He was miles better than Udogie in that little cameo, so I think that's a no-brainer. Left fullback, bring him in. Desperately need that. Once you cancel Alexandro's contract or send him to Saudi Arabia, whatever we're doing, bring Parisi in. What was I going to say? What else? So and Ranocchia is out. That's the meeting with Empoli that's been happening recently. And then on the biggest news is Timothy ×2. Castagna is still coming apparently, and so is Timothy Weah, who is a newish name, but apparently that's the closest one to happening so far. So Timothy Weah from Lille, American-born, Brooklyn, George Weah's son. The legendary George Weah won a Ballon d'Or in the mid-90s, I believe. Liberian prime minister or president as well. Milan legend. His son is now on his way to Juventus. So the thing with Timothy Weah is he's a utility player. I'll say this. When I say he can play, I'm not saying he can play it well, but he can play left back, right wing, and striker. He's done that this year with Lille, and he plays the majority of the time as a right winger for the U.S. national team. I just watched him Sunday play Canada in this most recent match, and he was pretty good. Canada was bad, but he was pretty good. I'm not gonna say he can play left back well, because that'd be disingenuous. He's played there for Lille though. He started most of the year as a right wing back or right back for Lille. He's also played right wing, and he was developed throughout his youth as an attacker. I can see Timothy Weah being a good squad member. If he is your out and out starter all the time, and we're relying heavy minutes on him, I think he can get cooked. Especially if he's playing right back, when you play Napoli, Kvaratskhelia, when you play Milan, Rafael Leao, even when you play Inter, DeMarco's probably going to be tough for him to deal with. I'm scared for his defending. Is he a good replacement for Cuadrado? I think it's going to be a complete twist. Cuadrado is usually good. He was reliable in big games, I think, and Cuadrado's shocking in games that didn't really matter. Not that didn't matter in against teams that were mid-table or lower. I think Timothy Weah is going to be a little bit different. I think he'll skin a bunch of Serie A defenders if he gets the opportunity to. His end product isn't the best, but I think he'll provide some awe and joy to Juventus fans when he plays, and if he's allowed to go and attack and be brave. He's got the skill for it. It's just the end product, the final pass, final shot, isn't always the best. And I think you could tell by the GA output. GA means goals and assists output. He had 2 assists only last year with Lille. Especially when Jonathan David scored 24 goals. You thought he could probably get a couple more assists here or there, but whatever. So we'll see. That deal is 10 plus 2, so 10 million plus 2 million in bonuses, and it's a 5-year contract, I believe I read, and I think it's like 2.5 million at max. The wage. He's 23 years old. My only question is, why did his buddy Wes McKennie? Why did he tell Timothy Weah to come here? That's kind of a weird one, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. But I think he'll be the first official, not like it was an official sign, but the first actual signing that's not a loan redemption. We'll see coming through the door. So stay tuned for a coach's corner on that one. I'm preparing the documents tonight for Ale to make for me, and I'll be busy this weekend because Castagna's coming, maybe Parisi, maybe Partey. I'm going to be busy though, and I have to make the Milik one still. So stay tuned for the channel for all that stuff. So I mentioned earlier, I guess we're done with all the Juventus talk. Oh, yeah. I mentioned earlier about the Chiesa stuff. If you're still watching, like the video. If you made it this far, but I'm going to give last year, when Arthur Melo went to Liverpool, I went on the Liverpool LFC Transfer Room YouTube channel, and I talked about Arthur there. I'm doing the same thing this time, addressing the Chiesa links to Liverpool, as I mentioned earlier. So go check out that video. I think I'm going to record it on Sunday, and they'll probably put it out Monday or Tuesday. So go check that one out. I'm not going to be negative, but I'm going to say he's probably not going to Liverpool. Just because I don't think they can financially compete with Newcastle. But I'll break it all down with them. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for all of our videos on this channel. Again, it's going to be Here We Go season next week probably for a bunch of these players. Even the outgoings, even Zakaria, McKennie, we're all going to find some new homes. I think if Chiesa and Vlahovic do go, I think they'll be in July. And I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I'm down with that, because those are the players we're going to have to replace the most. So we'll see. But again, stay tuned for all of our videos. Keep it locked on the Bianconeri Zone. You can follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, at Biancaneri Zone. Our Twitter account is popping off because of all the news, so be sure to follow along there. And, of course, this YouTube channel. Like the video, subscribe. Ciao, everybody. It's a lot to keep up with.